Hey there, happy Tuesday. So this document that I have uploaded is going to take you about 2 days to read, understand, and answer. So um, I'm going to read the entire document. Again, it's going to be in the classwork section. You're going to pull up your Google Doc, and I've already highlighted some parts that I just wanted to make sure to separate some parts to the longer texts are just easier to understand, so you're not just kind of all over the place or overwhelmed. As I read the section, if you want, you can have the video playing in the back, so you're just sort of listening to me as you're working through the document. Um, Again, any words that you don't know. So I've underlined some that I think we might not know. Again, your job is to pick up your phone if you are on your computer, dictionary.com. You look up those words. If you don't, if you're doing your work on your phone, you might have to go into another web browser and do the same thing. But again, I've given you just enough work where I feel like you can do it in the 35-minute block of time. So hopefully you're not so overwhelmed. So again, this part is day one, and I've separated into day one and day two. So once we go over this part, you can stop the video, continue answering the first part's question, and then tomorrow you can reopen up this video, and I'm going to do the same reading and so that you can finish it. And again, it's not due until tomorrow at the end of the period. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to go over the reading. Afterwards, I'll go over the questions for each section, and hopefully you'll feel comfortable answering. And again, your job is to try your best to answer the questions, even if you're not sure. Again, it's better to try, possibly get it wrong, so I know what I need to clarify to make clear for you. But if you don't try, then I'm not going to know what the misunderstanding is. I'm not going to know how to help you. So, again, try your best. So, again, it was what were the values of the Renaissance? So, this goes along with the PowerPoint video from yesterday. This is just an extension of that. So, just keep that in mind. So, this is the Greek and Roman influence. After the fall of the Roman Empire, much of the art and literature that was created by the ancient Greeks and Romans was lost because of the disorder caused by fighting between kingdoms, a lack of education for people outside the clergy, and a lack of wealth to support artistic creation. Remember, this is all happening during the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. Starting in the 1300s, scholars, artists, and scientists in Italy rediscovered Greek and Roman writings and art. They modeled everything they did on what they learned from ancient texts and artifacts. Many of the texts and artifacts came to them from Constantinople in the Ottoman Empire, where the texts had been preserved and often translated into Arabic. Renaissance writers learned Greek and Latin, the languages of the Greek and Roman empires, and studied the style and grammar used by writers like Cicero, a Roman philosopher and politician. In art, Renaissance painters and sculptors tried to match the realistic depiction of the human form that the Greeks and Romans valued. Then the Renaissance artists pushed themselves to create idealized versions of the human form in both sculpture and painting. Architects, too, were influenced by the Greeks and Romans. They studied Greek and Roman ruins to gain inspiration and to figure out how classical buildings were constructed. Renaissance architects then employed those techniques and improved upon them. Right, so let's go to the questions. So where did Renaissance scholars get Greek and Roman texts that were previously lost in Europe? So where did they get them Where did they find them to return them back to Italy and Western Europe? Question 2. What languages did Renaissance scholars have to learn to study Greco-Roman texts? Again, these were ancient texts, so what languages did they have to learn in order to read those texts? And lastly, for this section, how did Renaissance architects learn Greco-Roman building techniques? So please take a moment, go back into this section. You can pause this video. Once you're done, resume the video and I'll read the next passage.